Hello YouTube. So I just bought this $350 keyboard and I want to make this video to review it and basically see should you also spend $350 on a keyboard. Okay, so first things first, it is a split keyboard, RGB lighting, and so you can see I got the blank keycaps. That was my choice. It is adjustable with all these different configurations, but I don't use that. And it comes with this connecting cable and this cable as well. So that is what comes in the box. This is the keyboard. Split keyboard. And yeah, I mean, most of what it looks like is pretty obvious. So let's talk more about how it actually works. So what makes this keyboard expensive, my guess, and somewhat sophisticated, is that every key is individually programmable, and through the firmware, your configuration can be actually saved onto the keyboard. So you just plug it into whatever keyboard you want and your configuration is automatically loaded. Even if you have whatever software, whatever operating system it is, it doesn't really matter. So that means that you can actually program every key for yourself. So you can use the QWERTY layout, Colmac, or whatever you want. And that is, people get super intense with it. I'm gonna link some other configurations, and there's a whole ecosystem of people finding what works best for them, because you can have it to whatever productivity gains that you're looking for. Okay, so that is probably the biggest thing that makes this cool. And so I guess why don't I show you my configuration as an example. Here is the key map setup that I have. And so I'll just go over what I think is somewhat unique about it. So first things first, I kept QWERTY, which is normal. And so my strategy here was to have two different layers. So layers are super important. They basically let you change what every key maps to when you do some sort of action. So my thumbs by design are the most active, and so I have two different layers here that let me do all these things without stretching anything. So I don't use like any of these keys. And I actually never ended up using these two keys either, which is kind of annoying because these are the big red ones, but whatever. So yeah, that's the main thing. I have this first layer for all of the symbols, and so this is like completely new from any regular keyboard, but honestly, I just mapped things to what I thought would kind of make sense and kind of make sense being together, and then it actually was not that hard to memorize. And I was able to get every symbol on this layer. So then I have another layer when I hold down my left thumb, and that is a number pad and arrows for me. So I think these three layers, the base layer, this layer, and this layer, actually works pretty well in my opinion. So it's cool, yeah. And so I think this is similar, but still pretty different from what I've seen from a lot of people on YouTube and stuff. Okay, so figuring out how to set all of that up took me a few days, and then to actually get used to it probably took me about a few weeks. And that's one of the things that was important for me was just how much of a setback will this be until it actually makes me feel more productive. And I'd say the trade-off is worth it in my opinion, because it didn't take that long, and if you're programming things to make it work actually for yourself, then you're gonna learn those key binds and everything really quickly because you have to use it a lot. And that was the main thing that I did that helped me out, was I just forced myself to use the setup no matter what. And so eventually you just have to learn the muscle memory. The one thing that is annoying though is if you end up going somewhere or traveling and you have to use your laptop, then you kind of have to go back to your old setup in a sense. But what's nice about that is if you don't change the QWERTY layout, then it's gonna be, you can always go back, which is super easy, but you just won't get better at learning the new setup. Okay, so overall, I think my summary is that if you can somehow justify the $350, I think the keyboard is really nice and that makes it worth it. But I would say probably only worth it given the price if you are working in tech or something where you're on your computer every day, 8 hours a day, and you get, tech salary. So that would probably be the only reason I would justify it. Okay, cool. That was my review.